Shenanigans. Shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Shenanigans. Truth, lies, 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 shenanigans. Shenanigans. Truth, lies, 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 shenanigans.
Hey friends, this is Truth, Lies, Shenanigans, the live show for Sunday, October 11th, 2020. My name is Neo, and I'd like to welcome all of you to our fun, crazy, and deeply impassioned show. Let me introduce you to our host for today in the opposite corner. We are all just students living in her world, Miss Lizzie.
Hello. Happy Sunday, fun day, everyone. Shout out to the Washington football teams doing what they do best, losing right now.
That is what they do best. Below me, the man who reminds me to keep my carpet footprint really low, Mr. Rob B.
Happy Canadian Thanksgiving to everyone.
Oh,
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, Rob B. Canadian Thanksgiving. That's awesome. All right. For today's show, we're bringing back our small business spotlight where we'll highlight a small business living through these COVID times. Today, we have Leah Gore from Heavenly Garden Spa. Also, Lizzie is talking some Cuties catching some charges. Yes, we're talking Netflix's movie Cuties. And Rob B tells us about a billionaire going broke and happy about it. Keep in mind, we are live everywhere. All our streams are YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, and Twitter at TLS Live Show. And you can watch us live at truthlieshenanigans.com. Of course, we always love it when you join in the conversation. Make sure you invite some of your friends too, because we'll be responding to your comments and questions in all our feeds live on air. And we have some great news. If you miss our live show, you can now find previous episodes on iTunes and Spotify. Just search Truth Lies Shenanigans and you'll find us.
We're everywhere.
We hit the big time, y'all. We hit the big time, y'all.
And soon you'll be able to find us on Google Podcasts, Audible, and Alexa as well. So we have another packed show today. But I have to talk to you briefly about this plot to kidnap the governor of Michigan. For those that haven't heard the shenanigans recently, there were several men that were arrested this past week for allegedly planning to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer and overthrow the government. The plot included at least 7 members of a militia called the Wolverine Watchmen. Now, suffice it to say, these are all Trump lovers. So, guys, this is crazy, right?
No, typical day in America. Typical day in these United States of America. What's crazy is that there has been no outrage from the White House. There has been no statement from the President of the United States rebuking this attempted kidnapping plot, this attempted coup in Michigan. Instead, the president decided that he was going to chastise and shame and mock the governor of Michigan again, essentially blaming everything that has happened over the past week or so on her. And so this is where we are in America right now, where we are being led by a tyrant. We are being led by a fascist who can't for the life of him come out and try to bring us together as a country. Try to, at least in the face of the American people, say this is wrong and we will not tolerate that. Now, he'll do it if it's BLM. If that was Black Lives Matter,
Oh yeah.
the National Guard,
yeah.
the 4 members of the U.S. Armed Forces, 5 if you want to include the Coast Guard, would have been a threat to the governor and the government of Michigan, and near silence from the White House, near
Rob B?
silence from Congress. Rob B?
I definitely agree with Liz. And another thing that really caught me hard in this story was appreciate that due process is very important. You can still have an initial reaction. This is a terror plot, like you said, and unfortunately, people have been hiding behind amendment rights that were written 200 from the inside.
Are we talking about Trump?
That Comrade Trump, he owes 400 million to someone. I'm just saying.
500 million.
500. Saying, not saying.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
So like just no reaction from law enforcement either. It's just like, yeah, okay, you guys are here and we're okay with it.
Yeah.
America, you shouldn't be okay with right-wing armed militia groups training in your nation. You should not be okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just Trump has empowered these people. He will not condemn any of them, which is frustrating. I mean, you have to stop. You have to. The role of a president is to come bring the country, but you have to bring people together. When you're seeing this, you don't continue to say this is a good thing and then continue to talk bad about the people on the other side. It's just really frustrating. You were going to say something, Rob? Did something about it.
You would have seen, honestly, the beginning of the actual physical fall of the U.S. government. And so that's something else to think about when we think about these people, when we just casually dismiss them, rhetoric.
Comments online. Jose says, read an article stating Biden called the governor amazing and nothing from Trump. Is he jealous? He really did a great job putting up silos. Mike Winter. So let's get into the show because we have a packed show ahead. So let me tell you a little bit about Truth, Lies, and Shenanigans. We gave you a little taste so far. We'll be sharing our truths and opinions with you guys out there and pointing out those ridiculous shenanigans. $10 penalty. And if it's 3 times in the same show, you'll write a love letter to your president, not Rob B's president, but our president, Donald Trump.
He wrote me beautiful letters, and they're great letters.
Lizzie is crushing it. Lizzie is crushing it.
Rob B can legitimately say, you know how you see a lot of people screaming this in the streets? Rob B can legitimately say, not my president.
Very legitimate.
Not my president, that's for sure.
All right, let's get right into it. Tonight we have another small business spotlight. Tonight's spotlight is on Leah Gore from Heavenly Garden Spa. Leah, there she is. Welcome to the show. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let me introduce Leah to everyone. Leah is a licensed massage therapist, and she's been that for over 14 years. She's attended Baltimore School of Massage and is certified in hot stone, prenatal, aromatherapy, sports massage, and reflexology. She also specializes in deep massage of myofascial release technique. Leah's vision is to introduce massage and aesthetics as a viable life enhancement that would help improve upon the overall fabric of life. Welcome, Leah. Can you hear us okay?
think she might be frozen a
It
little
looks like
bit.
she might be frozen. Okay, we might have lost Leah.
Yeah.
Leah, you still there? Can you hear us? I think we have a
I think,
connection problem.
yeah, I think she can hear us, but we can't hear you. We hear her,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, it looks like the connection's struggling.
Hey, can you hear me now?
We can't hear you. All right, Leah, let me see what we can do about getting that connection back. But we'll come back to you if you hold out just a little bit, Leah, and we'll see if we get the connection back up, okay? All right.
Just a disclaimer. Just a disclaimer to our audience. So Leah is in Greenbelt, Maryland. Actually, she's in Baltimore right now. So Leah's in Baltimore. Neo is way out in Waldorf, Maryland.
Waldorf.
I'm in DC. I thought you were in Waldorf.
I'm
Are you
not
not
going
up
to say
north?
where I am, but I'm. I don't even know hate mail. I say
He's in,
enough.
I give you enough hate mail. I give you enough hate mail. He's in Maryland. Let's just put it out there. He's in Maryland, and I'm in DC, and so there are storms all
There are
across the
storms going
DMV.
on right now. Yep.
So that could be, the result, or Leah's connection problems could be the result of the storm. So hopefully we'll be able to bring her back on shortly.
Yep.
In the interim, you want to get to a hot topic?
Yep, that's what we're going to do. Jump right on. And we'll talk about it until we see our friend Gingy, who will let us know when time is up. Then we'll be looking online for your questions and comments, and we'll talk about it for just a little bit more. Once we're done, we'll go on to the next host air topic.
Like a lie hot topic?
And we've gotten some lies. We can talk Trump. We probably
I was gonna say,
almost every Trump conversation is a lie.
aside from Trump, any straight out lie hot topic. But this is a truth and shenanigans. So it was released on Netflix on September 9th. So just a month ago, it was released. And it's had a lot of backlash, a lot of controversy because of the images that have been put forth from the movie, some of the subject matter. The story of Cuties is about a in France. And it's kind of like a coming of age story, but it's a coming of age story that includes this young lady trying to rebel from her Muslim family, but also trying to find herself as well. And in order to do that, she is looking towards sexually explicit images of young ladies in the media, particularly as it pertains to dance. So here is one of that. Were y'all dancing
And
like this? Just for the ladies in the audience, were y'all dancing like this at 11? I'm not going to comment. I'm not going to answer that question. But everyone else, were you dancing like this at 11?
I mean, I just want to say real quick, these are actually 11 exactly.
I mean, I've been known to drop it several times, but I'm an adult, so I'm allowed to do that. However, someone posted this week that I thought was very telling, and I wanted to talk about it as it relates to this conversation. Can you pull up the image of WAP and Cuties?
Sure. WAP.
Ladies are getting this from. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, WAP was a very explosive, sexually explicit song that was released earlier, I believe at the end of August, early September, by rappers Cardi B. And so people are likening that and saying that is the reason why we have the images in Cuties on the left. I'm sorry, on the right. So my question initially for the panel is, who do you think is responsible?
Go ahead, Robbie. I'll let you talk.
Who's ultimately responsible? The parents that are enabling this behavior and driving their children to succeed in.
Okay.
So, I mean, when you're saying who's responsible, I mean, it's really about the consumption of the internet and all of the graphic sexualizations online of girls and women. I mean, it's really, that's what it's about. If you talk about responsibility, it's our responsibility. I mean, and there's some parenting issues as well that we're talking about. But I mean, this movie kind of highlighted the fact that parenting wasn't necessarily the problem, but it was part of the problem. So, um, I do want to say we probably will have some spoilers about the movie, so we probably should have prefaced it with that. But I don't know. I think it's really about, um, when she got a hold of a phone and she was able to start
I'm
consuming the
sorry,
internet.
got a hold of a phone when she stole a phone.
Okay.
And she stole the phone.
Potato, potato. When she had a phone and she had it for several days and she was able to start consuming some images that she didn't have access to before, it changed the way she was acting and behaving. And it was during a time when she was struggling with some things. So go ahead.
And so that goes to my next point, because I think because of the misguided and badass adults in the situation. And again, I've said this on several occasions, mostly as it relates to how children are responding or acting in the virtual teaching session. But this is a part of a larger scope where you have children responding or acting out as a result of decisions being made by adults, if you will. And so in this particular situation, we have a movie, Cuties, that is being marketed in the United States by Netflix, by adults. And to see this, you think you're going to watch basically an 11-year-old porno film, if you will, and an 11-year-old strip show, if you will. But if for those people who have in the audience who have watched Cuties, this movie isn't really about the dancing. Yes, it plays a large part. However, the actual theme and point of the movie is this young lady, and as
Care for her
niche,
brother as well. So she's
taking care
basically
of
a
her brother,
parent,
and there's a baby, there's a
baby.
small baby in the background. Um, I suspected because she had a very adverse reaction to her father, her biological.
Mhm.
So I suspected that there may have been some sexual abuse involved. In tune with all of these things made up this story that had really nothing to do with the sexual images we just saw. That reaction was a result of all of this other stuff
Yeah.
in the way that the adults got the problem of the little kids.
So
Nia?
I initially had decided I would probably never watch this movie. I mean, based upon everything I'd been hearing about it, and like Rob B, I'd seen the sexualization. I hate that because of everything that I had heard. Don't get me wrong, it was bad. Um, you know, I had to look away a lot of times because there were definitely excessively graphic scenes. They had some extreme legal, it's going to make you feel uncomfortable, make you feel angry about this because and try to understand how children are seeing the world today. How children are having to deal with this. They're dealing with these major issues, and then their outlet is, like I say, consuming the internet, consuming the Cuties of the world, and the
Know what WAP means, and I'm not going to get any points for cussing because I'm just quoting Cardi B. WAP means wet ass pussy. WAP
pussycats.
means wet ass pussy. So at some point over the past month, the number, and so let me just say, and I'll let you finish in a second, but let
Uh,
me just say, we can't talk about, especially as persons of color, as Black people, we can't consistently talk about how representation is important in terms of having Black people being represented in the media, in on the news to us,
yeah.
specifically to our young
Mhm.
girls.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and all I was going to say was it seems like I just feel like Cuties was just putting parents on notice. Hey, this is what's happening. You think back to the episode we had with the little girl who was beaten by her
Yes.
mom. Maybe even she saw Cuties, and so that little girl was just learning. So but again, we have to be able to talk to our kids and teach them right from wrong. So the parents are responsible in that sense.
Now Netflix is being taken to task by the government, by the judicial system, if you will,
Yep.
for Cuties. So they have been indicted by a Texas grand jury over lewd depiction of children. So what
Mhm.
say you, gentlemen, about that?
And we only have 30 seconds, but we'll try to get it in. Good,
right?
Robbie.
And unfortunately, to me, it's an indictment of the entire industry because shows like Dance Moms and these pageants have been around forever. This has been happening for decades and decades, and people are okay with it. They're objectifying these young girls. And to me, it is a gateway industry for pedophiles to get that exposure, to get that content. Yeah, like I really struggle with it.
Yeah, and
Nia,
you mentioned
hold up. Oh, I thought Gingy was gonna come in for a second.
Oh, he's a little late today.
Here we go.
All right. So, yeah, I'll just be real brief. So, as far as the Dance Moms, and I know we had a clip we were going to show, but as far as Dance Moms, you know, Cuties was a little more visual, more sexualized than the show Dance Moms. But the reality is, I mean, this is what's happening, and you know, there is a sexualization of kids and teaching kids to be adults before their time, going on. So.
I think we
But as
have
far
time.
as the
Can we just show very quickly that Dance Moms clip
yeah, I
so
just
you
want to
can
say
see that?
I just want
Go
to say
ahead. Go ahead.
to
Yeah.
answer the question though, to answer the question about the charges, I don't think anything's going to come of that because of course there's freedom of speech, but I mean, you know, you can't. I don't think there was. There doesn't appear to be any actual pornography or anything here that happened. So, um, I don't. I think it's just a charge just to make a point, which I think it should be made.
To make a political point, this Dance Moms clip, remember, this is a few years old. This is well before Cuties. Okay. This aired on TLC on cable. This is a very popular show in the United States, in North America, and there was no lewd charges
Right.
for this particular video, for this particular show. Not a lot of backlash, not people up in arms.
I think that's what that
And look at this young girl. She even knew, that little girl knew that this wasn't right.
Yeah.
And these young girls here in this particular clip and video, they're probably the same age, 11, as the young girls.
You had one job.
It looks like Leah's back online, so I'm gonna try to while this is playing, I'm gonna just go over some of these comments online and see if we can get to Leah next. Let's see. We have Latoya Blakely. She said, "LMAO, we might have done this at parties when we were, or the people who buy the stuff. These are the people responsible, by the way. Are the people make us. Wait, hold on, I lost it. Sorry, lost that one. Latoya Blakely, for a long time, so many videos were so explicit that they were not allowed to watch them. I didn't. Oh, and Rupka said to her dad, "Sorry, it's a quote." That
Wow.
Apparently her dad is watching. Always want to grow up faster than what biology allows. We're always looking towards adults for an example. And so if as adults we're not putting out the proper example, we can't blame the kids for the reaction or how they manifest, how they interpret that example. If we are out there shaking ass, talking about WAP, showing it all for the cameras, that's what the young girls are going to emulate. And again, I said I wasn't going to talk about what I was doing at 11. I mean, someone I think in the comments just mentioned something about what we did at slumber parties. I mean,
That was Latoya.
I was very curious when I was younger. Virgin until I was 23 years old, but very curious when I was younger and acting out in ways because I saw certain things on television, in the media. And so, again, as adults, we need to do better.
Yep.
We need to do better.
All right. Let's try this again. We're going to get back to our hot topics in a bit, but we're going to try to do our.
Come on, Leah.
All right, let's see how our connection is. How you doing, Leah?
Leah, me?
Okay, we can hear you. We can hear you now.
I can. Yeah.
All right. Looks
right,
like it's a
very
little
good.
spotty, but we're going to go with it.
I've been in Greenbelt for 5 years. Started off mobile and found my way into a brick and mortar. expand to do some other services, but my specialty actually is
Struggling with the connection a little bit. Let's see if we can get through another question. If it picks back up, then we'll continue. If not, we might
oh,
have to bring you back for another show. But yeah, Lee, unfortunately, I think our connection's bad right now, unfortunately. I tell you what, we're gonna have to schedule you
oh,
for. Can you hear me? We're gonna have to schedule you for
yeah, I can. Okay.
about that.
But we will
Sounds
see you later. And be
no, no
safe
problem.
until next time. Be safe.
You too. Thank you. Thank you. You too.
Fairly,
Sorry, guys, about that. But
Listen, it's a virtual world. It's a virtual world now. These
yep,
things happen.
yep.
You know, it happens in my class. It's going to happen during live podcasts. This is where we are in the world right now.
All right. All right, great. So let's go ahead. Unless there was anything else you wanted to add about cuties, we're gonna move
one
on.
thing I wanted to add
Okay,
was
go ahead.
that this young girl comes from I guess, a culturally repressive household. And I don't want to discount the effect that that has on a child. When you grow up in a strict religious household, a child will find those opportunities to rebel. And typically, they're in dangerous adult behaviors, whether it be sex, drugs, alcohol. But children who are raised in those very oppressive households have a tendency to really rebel hard. So that's just another thing to really consider in the whole dynamic of it.
And she was rebellious throughout the entire movie, and there wasn't a lot of communication from the adults in her life with her. There was a lot of yelling. There was one instance where her mama beat her, but
Similar
there
to
wasn't.
the
Yeah,
video we saw.
but there was a disconnect. But Neo, very quickly, did you pick up on the moment where? Do you remember in the movie where she was asleep in bed?
Mhm.
And her mom came in very calmly and was like, "It's time." And she woke her up and got her out of bed, and she went out into the living room area, whatever. So she meant it's time, that it was time for her to do something. So knowing what I know about a lot of rituals, if you will, in particular African countries and cultures, I immediately was like, okay, we are about to witness female circumcision, and I am going to have to turn this off right now. Like
Oh,
I was just,
Mhm.
I would
I
agree.
like lost my voice, and thankfully it was not that. They just made her cut up a bunch of food. American audience, it was not marketed well to prepare them for that. All we saw was a bunch of young girls twerking and shaking their ass.
Yeah.
And we weren't prepared for all of this other stuff.
She was kind of just going with what was happening, and she was trying to deal with what was going on. And I love the way she had that connection with her mother at the end, and um, the connection she didn't have before. Yeah.
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 All right. Let's go ahead and move on to Rob B. Is this a truth lie? We'll continue with our hot topics. Is this truth lie or shenanigans?
This is a truth that wasn't discovered until some shenanigans. Chuck made
Yeah.
it a point to stay out of the limelight for his entire career. So he made his fortune as one of the co-founders of the Duty Free Shoppers Group. Now that's a Hong Kong-based travel retailer of luxury products. Since this man has made a killing.
Is that those
They've done,
airport?
it's that is
Where
this
I get
is
all
out
my
of
love traveling.
high-end travel products that you see advertised. He's part of that distribution model since 1960, so he has made a killing. But then I guess at some point he dollars last week marked almost 40 years to give away $8 billion to different charities and organizations
Just take a couple of
internationally.
100,000.
$8 billion. So this is just he is just so give away this massive fortune. So I'm looking for a reaction to Mr. Feeney's generosity, and B, if you were gifted $1 billion on the to donate every penny of it. Efforts.
Your questions, Rob? Repeat. What was the first prompt?
A reaction. First, more of a reaction to Mr. Feeney's generosity, his philanthropy over the last 40 years, and giving away $8 billion. Mostly.
The first part of the question, my reaction is there are angels on this earth. And there are people who do steadfastly believe in giving more of themselves than they do consuming, if you will. And so when I hear that, like you saw my reaction when you said he gave away $8 billion, I'm like, oh my, like I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't even imagine, but bless him for that, for having that in him, for not only having that in him, but not being on TV boasting about me. This is what I've done. This is what I've given. I've given more money than anyone else on the planet. Like, obviously, it comes from a good place. And we need more people like that because even though the majority of people on this planet don't have $8 billion, there are a lot of rich people on this planet who sit in their wealth and don't do anything. And I don't say that to say, because I never want to check anyone for what they do with their hard-earned money. Like, you worked, you earned it, or you inherited it. It's you can do whatever you want to do with it. But I do applaud this guy for thinking about the next person, for being selfless. Now, if I had $8 billion, would I give it all away? Absolutely not. And that's just me being honest.
The question is, you've got $1 billion given to you, and you have to give it away. There's no, how are you going to distribute the $1 billion?
As a type 1 diabetic, and there's no cure for diabetes, and I get that there probably will never be, because a cure has to deal with actually the genetic breakup of the actual disease. My focus would be on insulin distribution, getting people healthy, allowing people to be able to live and take care of themselves. So I would focus on diabetics, both type 1 and type 2. I would focus on women in domestic violence, because there are far too many women out there who are in situations where they feel like they can't escape, that they have to stay, where they're being beaten or they're being intimidated. And so I would want to create more safe houses, but also create more counseling situations, but also education. As an educator, I see my students I still have students, so we are a little over a month into the semester. I still have students who haven't bought books. So I'm scrambling, trying to find actual links for them so they can keep up with the assignments. And so there are a lot of students who want to participate, who want to be educated, but they can't afford it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would dedicate a lot of that money to the education system, void of Betsy Davos, however you pronounce her name. But giving back to these young people so they can get educated, so they can improve their station, their situation in life. That's how I would spend my $1 billion.
All right.
Nia?
So if I'm spending $1 billion,
and I would buy, if I could, and I would get me a new Chanel, 100%. But most of it would be towards charity. Nia?
I would start off with friends and family. I mean, I would start off giving a majority of it away to friends and family.
Oh, I thought you meant the Saks friends and family discount, which you mean actual friends and family.
Actual friends and family. Yeah. I would start out giving my $1 billion away to friends and family, and then if I'm doing charitable work, it would be for the protection of children, especially in violent situations, domestically violent situations. So um, that would be, I would spend the majority of it there. So pretty straightforward for
What
me.
about you, Rob?
I think he's a modern day Robin Hood. I think with the business model that he has, it's wonderfully exploitative of people who have too much money because those those airline catalogs, shopping catalogs are fun to leaf through, but I can't afford three-quarters of what's on there just because they're ridiculous luxuries. So he's making money off people who buy these ridiculous luxuries and he's redistributed it to people in need. Um, for myself, I would absolutely be leaning more towards mental health style of charities to make sure that people get the help that they need. Major contributions towards education and the arts, and absolutely more towards healthcare and specializing in children. Like Neo said, children who are in need. It's a very special type of need, and I would like to focus. If I had those financial means, that's where I would want to be investing the money. Absolutely.
Yeah. There's a few comments online. So apparently our connection was going in and out. It looks like that should be resolved. So hopefully we're good. Let us know if we're still having struggling with that for something's going on. Jeanette says, I love this, aspire to this. I'm in a group of women entrepreneurs who celebrated this guy and others for responsible leadership. Latoya Blakely said, that is pretty awesome. You can't take it with you, so why not give it away where it's so needed?
Or
Jacqueline.
spend it.
I mean, I'm with you. If I don't know that I would give all of it away. I'd give a good portion away, though.
I would give the majority, honestly, I would give the majority of it away. Like I would indulge a little bit,
Yeah.
but especially as an educator, I see so much need.
Yeah.
And being a woman, I would give the majority of it away. I would, spend a little bit on, my shopping spree, getting this hair together, and then traveling. But everything else, and that doesn't take $1 billion. Like I don't need $1 billion to do that. And so the majority would definitely be given away.
Yeah, and like I said, I would want to do something more long lasting. You know, just giving the money away is one thing, but I would want to create maybe my own organizations or safe houses or
Endowments,
yeah, something that was
self-perpetuating
lasting.
funds.
Hmm.
Hmm.
That would I would also do that. But Jeanette says supporting people attempting to escape abusive relationships, funding pharma research into cures for narcissism.
I think Regeneron has a cure for narcissism. Oh no,
That
an
is
enhancer.
hilarious.
Love you, Jeanette.
Latoya agrees with me. She says she start with my friends and family too. From there, I'd give as much money as I could to rebuilding schools and rebuilding the community centers and career centers in low-income neighborhoods around the country. Daria Winter says hunger. Uh,
Hunger.
yep, hunger, and apparently our stream is good now, so we're all set. Uh,
Hey, y'all.
Jeanette Brown said, "Just don't hoard it. Money is energy. Give it away free space. Uh, give give it away to free space for more to come. Abundant mindset." And Mike Winter says, "Quick question: is a trip to the Australian Open a charity?"
Hello. Yes, it is because next year Michael and I were supposed to do the French Open and the Monica Monte Carlo Open this year. Pandemic thwarted that, so next year, can y'all please contribute? Australian Open, French Open. We want to go back to Wimbledon. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'll set up the
Streaming
GoFundMe. I'll
TLS
set up the
streaming live
GoFundMe
from Wimbledon.
for me and White Twitter. Yes.
All right, looks like Gingy's in. All right, see if we fix some of our technical difficulties. Okay, looks
This
like
is the COVID world, y'all.
yeah.
When you're relying on online communication for everything, sometimes there are glitches.
Yep.
But we persevere, we keep it moving. You
And
can hear us at least.
And
So
one of the
that's
important
good.
things is we do our show live on purpose because we want to have this interaction with you guys. So we do appreciate the interaction that we have. So, but we will put out a clear copy tomorrow, so you guys will be able to see a full episode and clearly. So we didn't miss anything. Of course, unfortunately, we struggled with Leah, but we're gonna bring her back. But let's go
Leah's
ahead.
gonna come back with us.
Yep, we're gonna get her back. All right,
Truth,
that's our hot topic.
lies, shenanigans.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump into our game show. Hopefully, it's all right. So, our game show today is 5 things. We'll go round robin style again. The app will tell us what the 5 things are that we need to think of. So, basically, I'll give you an example. You have you'll have 10 seconds to say 5 things you shouldn't celebrate on your birthday. Yep.
What?
And you'll have 10
Okay.
seconds to name 5 things that you should not celebrate on your birthday. All right?
Okay.
That was pretty straightforward. And if you name all 5 things, and if they're good things, you get a point. If there's a tie at the end,
Can I-
we'll go to our audience for the most innovative. Go ahead.
Are you gonna read those prompts out?
Yeah, I'll have to read them out. Yep, I'll have to read them out
Okay,
because they're going to come a little slower anyway. So I'll read them out,
Good.
and you'll have 10 seconds because it actually gives us 12, but I'm giving myself 2 seconds to read them.
All right.
All right, we're starting.
Speed reader.
We're starting with Rob B, then going to Lizzie. All right. All right. Let's see if we can do this. All right, Rob B. 5 things a chicken thinks about when the farmer picks up the eggs.
Baby killer. Come back with my family. Hey, I was going to eat those. Hey, did I come before that thing? Don't break one. Don't crack them.
All right. Good job. All right, we'll give you a point. All right. Let me give you a point. And Liz E. You ready?
Sure.
5 things you shouldn't say in a party.
I don't have my ID.
3 seconds.
Where are the parents?
Time's up.
Yeah, that was a stupid question.
Time's
Boo.
up. Time's up.
Rob B, I just wanted to say you should have asked, like, how did the chicken cross the road?
That would have been a good one. All right, Lizzie's in the lead. Now I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna see if I can do this. All right. These kind of games I'm not really good at, so I'm gonna do my best. All right. 5 things you shouldn't do when naked. Walk outside, go to school, eat at a restaurant, walk down the street, and teach. I made it. I'm gonna say I made it.
Teach, yeah, teach.
You'll have to keep that in mind tomorrow. Put your clothes on during class tomorrow. No teaching while naked.
All right. Rob B. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. 12 seconds. 5 things you shouldn't say to your husband.
It's not yours. I'm in love with your brother. I'm in love with your mom. I want.
Almost got it. No, almost got it. Okay. I'm in love with your mom.
Why do I always not get the good questions, man? I want a good question.
Oh man, the party one was a good one too. I had all kinds of them floated up for that.
Wait a minute, hold on. I'm looking at some of these comments online. Hold on. Frying bacon, call the police, cook with hot grease. Oh, you're naked. It's lump and lame. Weed in areas with poison ivy. Okay.
To your husband, I can't feel it. What happened?
All right, you ready, Lizzie? We're going to the next one. All right, 5 things you shouldn't give trick-or-treaters.
Drugs, razors, eggs, a lecture, alcohol.
Nice, yay! All right.
COVID.
COVID. That's good. Let me give you a point, Lizzie. That's good. All right, so it's a tie. All right, so let's see if I win this. We break the tie. All right, let's see this. All right, Lizzie point. All right. For me, 5 things you shouldn't give away. $1 billion. Children. Point. All right. Last round score is 2-1-1. See if you guys can catch up. Ready?
Come on, Rob.
5 things that are harder than they look.
The ground, saying stuff at the beginning. Oh my god.
All right, let's see. Looks like we have all kind of connections. It must be the storms going on or whatever. What's the Delta? Delta's
I
out
told you there was a full storm behind me.
there. Delta,
Crazy.
yeah. Yes, Delta, whatever. All right, let's try to finish this off. We got 2 more. All right, I'm gonna give you your point in a second, Rob, while Lizzie's doing her thing. You ready?
Yeah.
5 things you can find in an airplane.
What? 5 things you can find in an airplane. A flight attendant, passengers, a captain, bad food, and an occupied bathroom.
Ooh, right on time. Look at you. All right, so
I fly a lot, y'all. I fly a lot.
all right, so this is for me. Last one,
Come on,
last
Roll
one.
the marbles.
5 things you
Neo.
can use for transport. Oh, this is easy. Car, plane, bike, train, scooter, skateboard. I don't know. Did I say it? Yay!
Yeah, that's
You got
6.
time, you got time.
All right. All right, so I win. Again, this
Hey.
is like my second one in a row.
I mean, you can use the last one, turkey baster for semen if you're trying to get pregnant and you want to inject some stuff. Turkey baster.
What? Turkey baster.
That was one heck of a segue.
Let's see.
Students aren't watching. I hope my students are not watching.
Oh,
Assignment for tomorrow.
Let's see. Latoya Blakely laughed at dirty socks. Money. Thaxton said money. COVID-19 herpes drugs. Money. Let's see. Not for trick or treaters. WAP. COVID. Skateboard. All right. Good job, guys. That was a fun game. That was a fun one.
I haven't eaten.
What were you about to say?
I haven't. My stomach growled. I'm just like, I haven't eaten all day.
All right. All right. Well, let's get our shout outs. Lizzie, shout out.
Shout out to the world. We made it through another week. Who knew? Tomorrow is Monday, the non-technical beginning of the next week. Be safe, people. Put your mask on. Do not listen to the POTUS, the President of the United States. And hopefully we'll see you on Wednesday.
All right, Robbie.
Again, happy Canadian Thanksgiving to everyone north of the border. So I hope that everyone is celebrating safely and, keep it low-key. Just have a good time, keep it safe. And I guess American Thanksgiving is in 3 weeks?
Is that right?
A month.
I don't know.
No, it's like a month. It's a whole month,
A
yeah.
month. It's a little over a
Whole
month.
month.
Yeah.
Excellent. So it's the ghost of Christmas future.
You coming to have Thanksgiving with us, Rob? You coming down to have Thanksgiving with us, Rob?
Very virtually, my friend. Very
Virtually. All right, my shout out goes to Leah. Sorry that we had the connection problems, but we'll work those out, get you on the show.
Yes,
I have a lot of good questions to ask you, so we're definitely going to get you back. I'd like to thank everyone who joined us online. Our regulars, Latoya, Mike, Kevin, Rupka.
Daria.
Yeah, Daria. Awesome. A lot of great comments, a lot of great interaction. Thank you for all of that. We love having you. That's all the time we have. That's all the time we have. So I'd like to thank you again for joining us. We hope maybe you learned something, gained a new perspective, or even just got something off your chest. Don't forget, like, follow, subscribe at TLS Live Show. And if you missed any of today's episode, you'll be able to rewatch tomorrow. We'll repost. Also, check out our clips online on YouTube and Facebook. We'll post those tomorrow as well. Or you can listen to us on iTunes and Spotify.
Put your listening ears on, like Judge Judy, listening ears, Spotify.
Yep. Just search.
iTunes.
All you gotta do is search Truth Lies Shenanigans, and you'll find us really quick. Make sure you join our next live show on Wednesday, 8 p.m. for all new shenanigans, because as you know, it's always more fun live with us. So, the winner of the show is me. Again. Wow. So my final thought of the day is, please, again, just go vote. There's early voting going on in many places, or they'll be happening very soon. So get out to vote. Mail in your vote. Do whatever you have to do to vote. Get this dude out of office. I don't care who you
Canadians
vote for, as long as you're voting and it's not Trump.
So in the spirit of Thanksgiving, Canadians would be eternally grateful if you got it right.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Rob. Thank you, Rob. Rob, come down to South Carolina and vote. We need you.
South Carolina. Yeah, we got this. Don't forget the Senate races, guys. Don't forget the Senate races. And House.
Truth, lies, shenanigans.
On November 3rd, 86 out of 99 state legislative chambers are holding elections.
There are 70 million young eligible voters, the largest and most diverse generation in our country's history.
We have the power to shape our country and communities.
But we
need all of us.
So picture this.
On November 3rd, we choose.
We choose who sits in 435 seats in the House of Representatives.
We choose 24 senators and 13 governors.
We choose the sheriffs, the DAs, and the judges too.
With 70 million young eligible voters, we choose to align a vision too humane to be political.
And make the future prouder than it's ever been.
So when the alarm goes off on Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020, and you arrive at your polling site to see freedom clocking 2-hour waits,
vote anyway. When the machines stop working and your job starts calling because American democracy is running late again, vote anyway.
Your vote is bigger than the color of your state.
It is a revolution in motion.
The moment you took to the streets and to the screens to share your outrage,
you recommitted to our collective dream, which requires that you lift it out of hashtags and into DC and your communities.
Because remember, this is the same year that brought a pandemic which disproportionately killed Black and brown Americans and indigenous people.
The same 2020 that took the breath of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Nina Pop, and Dominique Fells.
So on November 3rd, 2020,
know that voter suppression will be present.
Vote anyway. You will be discouraged.
Vote anyway.
Tuesday will be imperfect.
Vote anyway.
When every headline is shouting democracy and duty in swing states,
you will be asked to believe in a dream that never came to fruition for every American. And despite your best reason,
you must uphold it. Because we can't vote a world into existence that we can't first imagine.
The American dream is ours for the making.
Come alive for ancestors who need you to finish their story.
A story that begs for atonement.
Cast your promise.
Cast your promise. Cast your vote.
Cast your vote.
But vote.